Once again, this is Doug Clower, the Global Enablement Director for the Novell Business Unit. We have with us this morning Dean Lithgow. Let me give you guys a little bit of background, though, right off the bat. Obviously, nobody is on the call able to ask questions live, but please use the questions dialog box. I will pay attention to the questions and try to pass those along to Dean as we're going along. That way we'll make sure that we keep going, but feel free to enter your questions in there, and I'll interrupt Dean as we're going along as best I can. I don't want to interrupt his flow too much. The webcast is being recorded. The content that Dean is sharing will be included with the recording so that you'll have access to this after the fact. We're scheduled to go for about 45 minutes or so thereabouts. If we go a little longer and you need to drop off, feel free to do so. The recording will be there and made available for you afterwards. With that, I think I've got pretty much all the logistics covered, and Dean, I'm going to pass it on to you. So, Dean, take it away.
Good day. Thank you, Doug. Welcome, everyone, to this webinar. It's a pleasure for me to speak with you about GroupWise 2014. My name is Dean Lithgow. I'm the product manager for all of the collaboration solutions that come from Novell. There you have my contact information as well as a link to the GroupWise blog. Today we are talking about GroupWise 2014. It's been known for the last couple of years under the code name Windermere. It now has an official name, GroupWise 2014, and this will be the basic agenda that we will walk through for today, providing you some product status on the timeline of when final availability of GroupWise 2014 will be, some of the marketing release themes, and information that we'll be providing not only to industry analysts but also to our salespeople and our partners on how best to talk about the new features and capabilities in this product. We'll talk about all of the sales information and resources that are being created or have been already created and will be provided to this audience for your discussions with customers in making their plans to upgrade and deploy GroupWise 2014. We will go through a brief demonstration today, kind of a screenshot or demonstration of some of the new features of GroupWise 2014. It will be a high-level overview to give you a feel for the product. And then we're also going to reinforce our interoperability story that is enhanced with GroupWise 2014 but builds on some technology that we released last year with the coexistence solution with Microsoft Exchange. And then if we have time at the end, we'll go through several things in the appendix which provide you some customer success stories and references and a list of all of our ISV partners that have companion solutions that really build the collaboration ecosystem for your customers. So starting off, we will talk about the product status. As I've already mentioned, the product name is GroupWise 2014. It has been in authorized beta since last June, so it's had a very long beta, which helps us bake the product and make sure that not only it meets production deployment needs, but also that the feature set is clear and complete, and that it has got buy-off from not only our engineering and QA teams, but also a robust set of customers who have been actively participating in that. In addition, as many of you know, we roll out GroupWise internally to all of our production post offices throughout the world before the product ships. Currently, all of the agents in North America, a few in Europe, and one or two in Asia Pac have been updated. The rest will be updated in the next few weeks. And we've also begun the client rollout. Those production systems already support over 2,200 users, employees of Novell, that are now running their mailbox on a production GroupWise 2014 agent. In addition to the internal rollout, and in lieu of a public beta, we began a tech preview back in November. And this allowed customers to register and sign up to be able to download not only the product in its beta form, but also participate in forums and news groups to ask their questions and get issues resolved. That has been extremely successful as well, and we've had over 400 customers participate in that particular program. In addition, in order to ensure that the product is ready for prime time and that we see a more broad variety of production environments, we also began a Lighthouse program in December. And this is where we invite a set of customers, in this case 3 customers, to install and deploy GroupWise inside their production environments. And we had a state agency out of the state of Texas, we have a government agency in the UK, and we have a healthcare facility in Philadelphia that have all participated or are participating currently in the Lighthouse program. And that has been very successful. We've learned a lot about the systems, and 2 of those 3 are Active Directory customers. So we know that our solution not only works with eDirectory, as Novell is an eDirectory shop, but we also know that the new feature of Active Directory support is something that can very easily be adapted and used in deployment systems and been validated and verified by customers in real-time environments. The external facing release time frame is Q1 of 2014. That is still our external communication. As you know, we sent out a Novell product announcement in mid-January announcing that our internal target is the end of February. But externally, as we talk to customers, it's probably more prudent to continue that statement that we are planning to release it in Q1 of 2014. There's one note about the product status. As this product is releasing in this first quarter, we did make some changes to the GroupWise 8 general support date. It was due to expire at the end of March of this year. We've extended that to June to give customers some time to be able to upgrade from GroupWise 8 to 2014. There have been no changes to the extended support date for GroupWise 8, and there are no changes to the general or extended support dates for GroupWise 2012. We have been encouraging for the last 6 months that all of our GroupWise 8 customers upgrade directly to GroupWise 2014 as soon as it becomes available. And that still is our stance, and we'll continue to share that with both GroupWise 8 and GroupWise 2012 customers. And the goal of that message is to make sure that they get a full support cycle with their upgrade. If they upgrade to 2012, already that support cycle is 2 years into its general support and due to expire in early 2015. And so we want to get them to 2014 as soon as possible, and that will give them a full and lengthy general and extended support plan that they can be comfortable with their product. Here are some of the release themes that our marketing department and our product management team have worked together to develop, and we want to share those with you briefly to give you some idea of how to speak with the different audiences that are interested and that will be purchasing and upgrading GroupWise 2014. The release themes are simple, straightforward, yet resonate, as this is a mission-critical application that all of our customers rely on and that all of their daily collaboration throughout their organization depend on to run their business. Those release themes are productivity, flexibility, and agility. And within each of those themes, there are 3 audiences that we have a message for and that we have a solution and something to say to them about GroupWise 2014. Those 3 audiences are end users, our IT staff, and decision makers. And you see those outlined and summarized in this slide. As you look at the materials that we'll reference later, you'll get a deeper understanding of these messages and these themes and the features and the new things that are in GroupWise 2014 that you can speak of to these particular audiences depending on who you're presenting to and what message you're trying to give them. At the same time, we wanted to summarize that here in this presentation in one slide to give you an overview of what those themes are. For end users, for example, in each of those categories, we talk about the new changes in the GroupWise Windows client that simplifies the UI and intuits their work habits, brings things to their fingertips that allow them to be more productive and more efficient. Things like relevancy sorting, things like easy sorting, things like a signature that can be easily turned on and off and accessed and is embedded by default in the message view, being able to duplicate an item. Those things are a simplified experience for your end users. In the flexibility category to end users, we talk about a very comprehensive mobility support and being able to make decisions on the fly. While they compose and reply to email, very easy for them to change their mind between reply and reply to all, forward or forward as attachment, to be able to change it from a mail item to an appointment, or vice versa at any time during their composition of an email or when they reply. And then the last category, agility to end users, we want to talk to them about that new fresh look and feel that the GroupWise Windows and the GroupWise Web Access client have that borrow and leverage the Windows 8 Metro themes and the iOS 7 flat look, less borders, no gradients, and that they know that the feel of the product is contemporary and something that fits with the other applications on their desktop. To our IT staff, we have a very strong message in GroupWise 2014. In productivity, we're giving them a web administration tool, allowing them to administer their system essentially from anywhere that they have a browser. They have granular admin rights, meaning they can delegate the responsibility of administering a domain or a post office to another individual in their IT staff. And we have very robust and extensive querying and a web services API that they can leverage to build utilities, to extend their administration capabilities, and have tools at their fingertips that really increase the productivity of the IT staff. In the flexibility theme, the ITs have choice of client, server, and directory. Not only can they deploy a variety of clients to their end users, they also have a variety of choices on the server side that they can deploy on Windows, OES, or SLES. And now with GroupWise 2014, they also have a choice of directory. They can use eDirectory, Active Directory, or No Directory, or any combination of those three. In addition, they have the solution to coexist with Exchange in those situations where they go through a merger or acquisition. And under the agility theme for IT, we support the very latest technology. Our solution will fit into any data center. It now supports 64-bit agents, very contemporary, get the latest browsers, the latest operating systems, the latest versions of mobile devices. So the agility on that for IT staff is very, very important. To our decision makers in each of those categories, the first one, productivity, we're presenting a brand new set of capabilities without the steep learning curve of brand new software or the simple thing of just moving the start menu on them. They're able to deploy GroupWise 2014 without tremendous overhead. It will be familiar to their end users, and those end users will be productive immediately. From a flexibility standpoint, the decision makers should hear the message about GroupWise's continue low total cost of ownership and that we support their existing investments. This is not a forklift upgrade. They don't have to deploy the very latest and greatest of everything in order to be able to run GroupWise 2014. They have flexibility from their IT staff, as we've already mentioned. And the last message to decision makers in that agility section is a very strong and unique message from Novell, and it's around security and allowing those decision makers to get all of the benefits of the cloud without the risk, which means they get complete control of their data, They get a low total cost of ownership, and they can run their system with just a skeleton crew of administrators, which is all of the things that the cloud promises without having to give up access to their data, be concerned about employees of an ISP having access to sensitive information or not knowing where their data is stored in which geography or which location around the world. So those are the release themes and something for every audience as you talk to your customers. From a product enhancement summary, of course, this slide is not exhaustive of all of the new features and capability in GroupWise 2014. There is a feature summary document that does outline all of the new capability, and that will be in the resource section that we'll talk about in a minute. But we did want to show you one slide that highlights the top features that we are talking about and that we believe have the most interest to these two audiences. The top new admin features and the top new client features. And as we walk through the screenshots in the demo section of today's webinar, hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate most of these here. But we did want to have in your slide deck and as reference an easy place for you to reference and say, this is a summary of the hottest things that are in GroupWise 2014. From a launch execution standpoint, this slide, although has a lot of information on it, this outlines all of the resources and many of the plans surrounding the GroupWise 2014 marketing launch. As you look at that right side there, the key supporting deliverables is a list of all of the things that you will need that are either being produced or have already been produced in preparation to enable sales and partners to talk with customers about GroupWise 2014. There's a brand new customer deck that has over 75 slides that you can build a very customized presentation for every customer that you go and meet with. Not only has screenshots, very exhaustive screenshots for demos, but it also provides deep background into the release themes, the market trends, and some of the success stories and customer references that you'll need to be able to speak to particular verticals, to a specific customer with a particular need, or just to give them an update of what's new. There's an updated flyer that's already available. There's the flyer and a document about the top reasons to upgrade to GroupWise 2014. There's a tech white paper about how to migrate an eDirectory shop to Active Directory and what that entails. There's an animated demo that shows information about GroupWise 2014 and gives a easy way to demonstrate and show your customers what's new in GroupWise 2014. There are several competitive feature comparison documents and papers that compare GroupWise against Exchange 2010 and 2013, against Office 365, against Gmail, and against Zembra. And so those feature comparisons are about ready to be published, and all of these material will be available when GroupWise ships at the end of the month. And then we're also putting together some competitive flyers that leverage this material and allow kind of a consolidated or summary version of some of these comparison information. There's plenty of web updates that are happening both to the GroupWise product page, the Novell.com page, as well as all the documentation and related web content that is already out there for GroupWise will all be refreshed and updated for GroupWise 2014. You're probably already beginning to see that if you've spent much time on those slides or on those sites. And also we're targeting specifically GroupWise 8 customers that there'll be a spot on the web page that says, are you on GroupWise 8? And when you click on that, it will show you a cumulative update between GroupWise 8 and GroupWise 2014, meaning it brings all of the features and the hot things from GroupWise 2012 and combines them with the things with GroupWise 2014 and presents that as an aggregate view of all of the new stuff that will be a difference for that customer that is moving from GroupWise 8 directly to GroupWise 2014. And then, of course, we continue to have the roadmap app that's out there that shows you the direction of the product. It will be updated as well between now and the end of the month to make sure that it has the latest information on what is coming across all of our collaboration portfolio, not just GroupWise, and as well as linked to the GroupWise blog that continues to provide a connection to our customers and partners between them and our engineering and product management teams. The rest of this slide that are in those 4 quadrants really outlines many of the other marketing activities that are happening around this product from a public relations standpoint, an analyst relations standpoint, from a customer and partner communication standpoint, as well as just a list of all the enablement things that are happening from both Doug and Jeff, who have sponsored this call today. And the things that I'll highlight there is the analyst briefings there in the top right. The marketing manager, Kari Wolf, and I have already briefed all 5 of these analysts this last week. They're very excited and very interested in GroupWise 2014. Had a lot of great questions as we spent an hour with each of these analysts this last, like I say, this last couple of weeks, and gave them information and details about this release and the capabilities and functionalities that are coming in it. And then I'll shift briefly to the bottom left corner, the communications. The first communication went out just yesterday to partners and sales folks. The other half of that communication will go out Thursday, and this is about communicating the licensing changes that are part of GroupWise 2014. So hopefully you saw that email and you're able to look at not only the EULA but also the frequently asked questions document that we posted in conjunction with that. And that will also go out, like I say, a similar one will go out to customers on Thursday. The second communication will come in a couple of weeks, and it will essentially be a message to all of our customers that GroupWise 2014 is about here and is coming. And then when the product finally ships, the third communication will go out that announces the product and lets people know that it's here and that they can download it and get access to it and begin to deploy it. Because those licensing changes are so important, I wanted to at least give a summary of this and guide you to the other materials that have been created around the licensing changes. This includes a recording that has been posted from the enablement team that summarizes these changes, a quick Q&A about those. In addition, like I said, the email that went out yesterday that not only provides a link to the GroupWise 2014 EULA, but also a link to an FAQ, frequently asked questions around that EULA. There are essentially 5 changes that are in the EULA. The first one is that licensing will now be per mailbox instead of per user. The second one is that entitlements for SLES, Novell Messenger, and GroupWise Mobility Service will require an active maintenance. The third one is that simple renaming. The Web Access Messenger license transitions now to the name called Limited License, and you'll see that reflected on the February price list. There is a brand new way that you can purchase GroupWise. In the past, there's been 2 license options, either a full license or a limited license, and now we're introducing an inactive license, and it's available for those customers who have an e-discovery or compliance type of purpose. And then the last provision that we have spelled out in the new license is granting specific provisions to customers with regards to test mailboxes, test systems, and test accounts inside their organization. So that kind of summarizes the changes that are in the GroupWise 2014 EULA. We encourage you to be familiar with those. If you have questions, please contact me directly, and we'll certainly work out those and expand our FAQ if that's necessary. Now I'd like to walk you through at least a few of the GroupWise 2014 features. and give you at least a view of what is coming in GroupWise 2014, and we'll start with the administration piece. This first screenshot is to illustrate that flexibility theme, and it is showing the GroupWise 2014 administration console on an Android tablet, thus representing to our IT audience that they can now very easily, from anywhere they're at, check the status of their system, make sure their POAs and MTAs are up and running, easily change a password for a user that is having difficulty accessing their mailbox, or change some setting, mailbox quota or something on the fly, no matter where they're at. The next slide there that you see is to illustrate the delegated administration rights that are now available in GroupWise 2014. You can now delegate administration to another user on your system, another administrator on your staff, and they can have full control over a domain or just a post office. And it's a very elegant solution in that they're able to see in a read-only mode detail and information about the entire system so that they can make educated decisions about the changes and administrative choices that they're making at the POA or the domain level. At the same time, they only have access to change those things at the POA or domain level, and they don't have access to change system options or to initiate system rebuilds or things that may have an adverse effect on the overall integrity of the system. Here we want to illustrate the very robust Web Services API that provides this advanced querying and reporting capability. Since moving to an administrative console and off of Console 1, the new Web Console is built on a Web Services RESTful API that extends and exposes every field and record in the administrative database, not only to that admin console but also to third parties. That allows them to very easily extend the tools and utilities that they may need specific to their organization and to leverage such powerful capabilities as querying and reporting, such as finding out who in my mailbox has a quota over 10 megabytes, or whose password is expired, or who in my system is running on from an Active Directory or sourced from an e-directory, and what do I need to do to associate those to another place. And that all of that flexibility and power comes because of how this new administration console is built. And then the last piece, which is to illustrate this strong support for interoperability with Active Directory, is the screen of how to import users from one directory to another. Very easily, once you've upgraded to GroupWise 2014, you can now go in, establish all your users in another directory, like Active Directory, import those users into GroupWise, and reassociate those users from eDirectory to Active Directory in one simple step on one simple screen that allows that to easily now source that user from Active Directory instead of eDirectory. And you didn't have to do anything very complex, just set up the LDAP system and connection and then reassociate that user, and from then on that user will be sourced from Active Directory. As we transition to the Windows client, we want to demonstrate several of the new features and capabilities in that side of the story. We've shared a deep and robust feature set for the administrators, but we've also added something for the end users. And the first thing that you'll notice here is a very clean and new look, a simplified view for your end users. This is the GroupWise Windows client in 2014. This is demonstrating how the compose view looks in GroupWise 2014. And the first thing that you should notice is it's very simple and laid out very intuitively. We tried to expose those controls that are most often used and push to the background and toggle off those controls and that UI features that are more seldom used. That includes things like the from field, the CC, and the BC field. As you see, we've now concentrated the UI on the thing that's most important, being able to address the email in a to, adding a subject and the message. That's it. Everything else can be easily toggled on, as you see the from and the CC and the BC on the right there, that you can push those and turn them on and add them, but by default they're turned off. You also see embedded in the message body is an easy UI click to be able to turn on your signature and to add your signature. And once that's on, you can toggle between any of your defined signatures or even create a new signature right there on the fly. You also see the slide out option on the right that allows you to change between replying to all, replying just to sender, changing my mind and toggling that to forward or forward as attachment, and I can do that at any point during the composition of my reply. In addition, the to field has changed. Not only have we extended and made the name completion control much more intuitive and searching exactly as users expect, but we've also added a quick to field. You'll see the little down arrow next to the to field, and as you click on that, your most relevant and important contacts will show up in that list. It builds over time, and now the software is smart to learn about your work habits and adjust accordingly to flexibly allow you to choose those users and address an email intuitively without ever having to type a character. You just click on that down list, you'll see the contacts you address emails to the most, and you'll be able to click on them, add them to the to field, and move right into the composition of your email. The next slide is to illustrate the new look and feel. This is the calendar view, and what we're trying to illustrate here is the new colors and color scheme, as well as the change away from the hard, harsh borders and lines, and a very simplified flat look that allows your users to feel that this client is new, it's contemporary, and it fits in with the other applications that they're using on their desktop. The next slide is also to illustrate that same thing. This is the GroupWise mailbox view, very traditional in the sense that you have the folder list down the left, the message list down the middle, and the quick viewer on the right. While this is new, it's also very familiar. This is the part that allows your decision makers the easy decision to upgrade to 2014, because while it's new and fresh, it's very familiar and it won't be disruptive to your business processes or disruptive to your end users' productivity as they install and deploy the latest client, get all of the features naturally instead of having to go through some sort of robust training to be able to come up to speed and be able to use this product immediately. And you also get a feel for these softer lines, fewer borders, no gradients type of look and feel. And then the last thing that we want to show you in this demo today is how those same look and feel has translated to the web access client. And you see a very familiar look and feel here with the colors and the lines, and we want to make sure that as customers and end users transition from their desktop clients to the web access, that they can be just as productive in that client. And the one major new feature that we've added in GroupWise 2014 to web access is auto refresh. That auto refresh allows you to get that desktop feel. As new email is delivered to your mailbox, it will automatically show up in web access without the end user having to push refresh or update manually. That kind of concludes the demo portion of our webinar today. The last section that we want to reiterate and talk about is an existing technology that shipped last year, which is the GroupWise coexistence solution for Microsoft Exchange. We provided this technology as part of GroupWise 2012 SP2. It shipped in April of 2012, and it provides some excellent capability and interoperability story for those customers and situations where there is some pocket of GroupWise or Exchange in an overwhelmingly larger population of the competing product. It allows them to run seamlessly GroupWise and Exchange in the same data center. And it provides two pieces of key functionality. The first one is it allows the seamless synchronization of system address books back and forth between GroupWise and Exchange. And the second piece is it allows seamless free busy search between GroupWise users to Exchange and from Outlook users back to GroupWise. It's an elegant solution in the sense that all of this technology is built into the very familiar and already deployed components of GroupWise, the GroupWise MTA and the GroupWise clients. They do not have to stand up a new server. They don't have to deploy a new agent. There's nothing new in this solution that requires a heavy administration burden. It is additional licensing. As you see there, it's sold at a subscription price of approximately $15 per user per year. That's US dollars. But the deployment and administration of it is straightforward and simple. There is one piece that has to be deployed in the Exchange IIS server that provides free busy capability back to GroupWise, but that's the only piece that is outside of the regularly installed and deployed GroupWise clients. This is a quick summary of how that coexistence solution works. So we've already illustrated or mentioned that it's free busy. It supplements the ability to exchange email and appointments between GroupWise and Exchange. And it does require either GroupWise 2012 SP2 or later, including GroupWise 2014. And it also supports Exchange 2010 with the latest support packs. That kind of concludes the webinar for today and the information that we wanted to share. The last part, now that we have, as I look at our clock there, we've got a little bit of time. I'll briefly go through the appendix here to highlight some of the success stories and our partner ecosystem and our last resource slide here. We have several...
Just a minute, Dean, before we go to that, there are a couple of questions I think we probably should try to address right at the moment before we get into that part. And pardon me for jump in. But first one came in from Lynn, and it said they're interested in getting preliminary information on GroupWise 2014 provisioning capabilities. First, is there a published provisioning API for GroupWise 2014, and where would they get documentation for it if there is? And second, will there be a new IDM driver for GroupWise 2014 shipping soon? If so, when would it be available?
Great questions. I'm not sure that I understand the provisioning. GroupWise 2014, you can upgrade from either GroupWise 8 or GroupWise 2012 directly. The only stipulation there is that GroupWise 8 or GroupWise 2012 system has to be running on a supported GroupWise 2014 platform. So you'd upgrade the platform first, make sure that is up and running, then upgrade directly to GroupWise 2014. And then, of course, if you're moving from eDirectory to Active Directory, that would be the third step after GroupWise 2014 has been upgraded. From an IDM driver standpoint, yes, there is a new IDM driver in works. It'll go to beta next week. We expect it to be available within 30 days of GroupWise 2014 shipping, so probably in late March, early April that would be available. It is all coded. It is all brand new. If you have a customer who is using the IDM driver, they cannot upgrade to GroupWise 2014 before the GroupWise 2014 IDM driver is available, so they'll at least want to wait until that happens, roughly about 30 days.
So I think the whole provisioning question really has to do with how do you get users into the system, and presuming that they're not already in the system through an eDirectory. So it could be an Active Directory or an LDAP or whatever the case might be on that side of things. But
yeah, so to maybe extend that a little bit, if they're moving to Active Directory, you'll need to make sure that all those users exist in Active Directory. And then the simple piece is just importing them into GroupWise once you've upgraded to GroupWise 2014. I'll refer you to the white paper that I talked about that gives detail about Active Directory and how to upgrade to that. That should spell out most of the technical details and what needs to happen. But the key piece there is that all of those users need to exist in Active Directory first, and once they do, then the upgrade is pretty straightforward.
Okay. So Mark asked a question, or sort of made a comment and then posed the question. Extended support is intended specifically to cover a period of time when customers are upgrading to the newer versions or the newest versions. Wouldn't putting GroupWise 8 into extended support now be appropriate?
Extended support is really about them not being able to call in necessarily and getting updates and support packs. Extended support they have to purchase, and when they purchase extended support they get usually 5 SRs that they can use during that extended support time frame. And so it is very different than general support. We have debated quite extensively about whether to extend general support or not, and at least from the PLT standpoint, the product leadership team and our Novell Technical Services, they thought that there should be at least some overlap where customers could call in and get phone support without having to pay additional extended support costs.
Okay. There's another question came in from Michael. It said, it's always asked by the customers and partners, what about Outlook support and native Mac support? Is there a chance of having CalDAV and CardDAV support?
Unfortunately, we don't have anything to announce on either of those fronts at this point.
Okay. Dana asked, is there educational pricing? And I presume that's pretty straightforward. Yes, I'm sure there is, but I'll let you address that.
Yeah, the pricing in general has not changed at all for GroupWise 2014, and then I'll just refer you to the price list for all of the current pricing. But there is no price increase or decrease. There is just one more additional licensing option, that inactive license, and the inactive license pricing is identical to the limited license, or what was formerly known as the web access license. In addition to that, one of the other reasons that we renamed the Web Access Messenger license is we've now introduced the ability to purchase Messenger separate from GroupWise. Messenger will continue to be an entitlement for all GroupWise users, as it's always been, but now Messenger can be purchased separately, and it has a separate, an individual SKU now on the price list, and like I say, that's on that February 2014 price list. If you look at that, you'll see not only that SKU, but also the inactive license SKU and the pricing for it.
There was another question came in. I'm pretty much sure that this is well underway, if not already complete, but the question is, when will we internally roll out GroupWise 2014?
GroupWise 2014 began its rollout back in September. It is rolled out to almost every post office in the company. Clients, however, are rolling at a post office. They'll be prompted a post office every 2 days between now and the time that we ship until all of those are updated. Not every post office will get updated. We do have a need to continue to have some post offices on GroupWise 2012 to help test interoperability between those and kind of that mixed deployment environment. So if you are an end user on one of those post offices and want to be on GroupWise 2014, you just need to make that request at the help desk. But yes, the rollout started in September. Over 2,200 mailboxes already are running GroupWise 2014, at least on the back end. And if you are on one of those updated post offices and want to run the latest client, you can download that from gwclient.provo.novell.com.
Okay, the last question I have in here that I want to address before you go on to the customer references part of this is came from Pat and said, what can we share with customers today that GroupWise is going to continue to be a developed product? Do we have or are we working on post GroupWise 2014 roadmap, and what can we say?
Yeah, it's a very challenging question. The most that I can say right now is that we are committed to GroupWise 2014 and that the rest of the roadmap is still to be determined.
Okay. I think that's the last of the questions I have for at the moment, so if you want to go ahead and proceed on the appendix part of this.
Sure. Real briefly, we'll go through these success stories. The first one is United Bank. This was a migration to GroupWise, meaning they had GroupWise, they acquired another bank, and they migrated that new bank to the GroupWise platform. And so this kind of walks through that. At the end of the day, their advice is there's no contest between GroupWise and Exchange. Nothing is more secure than GroupWise. The next success story is Millikan University. It's a competitive win against cloud alternatives. They went out and did their own research, looked at how much it was going to cost them to move to a cloud solution, found out it was cheaper because of the total cost of ownership to stay with GroupWise, and their advice is it pays to do the math and the analysis. The next success story is BJC Healthcare. We did a very extensive coexistence solution with them. They had about 5,000 Exchange users in their organization that they needed to coexist with about 28,000 GroupWise users, and we deployed that internally last year. Very successful, saved them a ton of money, as you see that in their results. And their advice, if you have two systems coexisting in the same environment, migration isn't the only option, and this coexistence solution is perfect for that scenario. And then the last one that we have here is a school district. I won't try and pronounce that here and make a fool out of myself, but that was a 3-product competitive win back. This was a customer who migrated away from Novell and Novell products and then came back to all 3 of those. And based on the downtime that they experienced with that competing system and the additional costs that they were incurring. And so those 4 success stories around GroupWise and our collaborative solutions are important for you to know about and reference, as well as become familiar with, depending on the audience or vertical that you may be speaking with. As you know, we do have partners in essentially every category that help build out our collaboration ecosystem, whether those solutions are mobility solutions or end-user training, whether it's a help desk issue or unified communications, whether it's migration or compliance, e-discovery, or legal hold. We have a partner that has that solution, and so it's important that you look at our partner page and make sure that your customers know that they have solutions in this space. And here's kind of a list of all of those ISV partners that provide a solution for or in conjunction with GroupWise and for our GroupWise customers. And I think that's the, here is the last slide. Just a brief list of product information resources. All of the marketing information and sales enablement will be found in one of a couple of places. Number one, on the GroupWise product page that you see listed here. That material will be updated. A lot of the competitive information, the flyers, the white papers will all be put there. In addition, the other place that you can get this marketing and sales enablement information is in Enablement Central for employees or Enablement Central for partners. And Doug and Jeff there could probably expand on exactly how to get that. But all of the information that we've talked about today will be in one of those 2 places or both, depending on what you're looking for. Check both, and you should be able to see all of that information that we referenced in the one summary slide of all of the launch activities that were happening. And then the last one there, once again, the GroupWise blog. If your customers are waiting to see, or you're waiting to see when it actually launches, you can obviously get the communications through the direct email or continue to watch that GroupWise blog where we'll also announce it there. We will be blogging just this week on the EULA changes, another place that people can reference and get information out to customers about those licensing options and licensing changes for GroupWise 2014. And Doug, I think that concludes all the information that I have to share with this audience today. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I'm gonna make one last call out for questions to anybody in case there's something you still want to ask while I'm closing out here. As I had mentioned, the materials, the recording of this webcast along with the materials will be posted in Enablement Central for partners and for employees. It'll also be available on Novell in Hand, so look to those places to get it. We have a Solution Day coming up on the 21st of this month, which is very focused on a little bit more of a technical deep dive in the GroupWise side of things. So if you can take advantage of that, great. I know that for Europe, those solution days do not occur at a very opportune time for you. They're on Friday, late in the afternoon for you, so I apologize for that. Other than that, I think I don't see any more questions coming in, so I want to say thank you to everyone who's attended. We had nice turnout, good registration numbers, and nice turnout, so I appreciate that. Look forward to a future webcast, and have a great day.